Ready? Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jean Withers, for those of you who don't know who I am. And on behalf of the Board of Directors of the congregation, I want to welcome you. It's nice to see so many of you here tonight. Please take a look at the screen behind me for ways to enhance your prayer experience. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I think that's all I have to say. I have more later. Is the cantor here? I can pretend. Well, one of the announcements I think the cantor actually wants to make about his program that he's going to do. Yeah. He should be here any minute. I thought he walked in actually before me. So I did the announcements already. Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Do you want me to be up here
No,
with
I'm
you?
not going to be up here. So.
You're going to be down there?
Come on down.
Come on.
I was asked to start the service on time, and I am realizing it just isn't possible. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Could I invite the Cutlers to come on up? Lighting of Shabbat candles on page 5.
Oh, okay. You gonna do it?
Amen.
Page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Continue. Thank you.
And then you're up. Yeah. Okay. Want to use the table?
Yeah, this will be fine. Do you want to introduce me, or should I just talk? I don't have a problem. Talking.
Well, I would say that Barry is one of the few people who have been here longer than me, but I see quite a few people in the crowd tonight who've been here longer than me, so.
A few.
Anyway,
A few.
Barry's been here for a long time, and he has a story to share with us tonight.
Well, thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Cantor. I was invited to accept the honor of being honored here tonight by sharing some part of why BethChaim, or how BethChaim has helped shape my Jewish identity. And when I received the email from Ann, she said I had 3 to 5 minutes to talk. And for those of you who know me, I responded to Ann, where I come from, that's a deep breath. So I started thinking, I have an awful lot of stories. So obviously in a few minutes, we'll concentrate in one area in particular. It was 48 years ago around this time that a group of people started to get together to form what became BethChaim. And very much like our ancestors used to respond to the sound of the shofar over hill and valley, hither, thither, and yon, in the ancient country, we, as a new group, realized we had something special going on. And if my new technology will cooperate with me, I have something that I have practiced, and it's worked perfectly as recently as an hour ago. And for some reason, just like how little children have a way of embarrassing people, and now they want me to pay for a subscription. I am so frustrated here. I may need the cantor to get me out of it. Here we go. Oh, you can't hear. Excuse me. That's another sign of the times. But I have the Bluetooth on in my hearing aids, and so you can't hear the sound. Another sign of the times of how we have moved along. So here we go. Well, it isn't that. It's been going on in my ears. Over here? Can you hear that? Can you hear it? What is that? That is the sound of a train. So as we formed this congregation in our first organizational meetings, we all figured we had something special going on because we were meeting in the Heightstown Firehouse in the center of Heightstown. And in those days, there was a train, the first train line in the state of New Jersey, known as the Amboy Camden Railway. And that train used to come through the center of Heightstown, over a trestle. The trestle is still there next to the firehouse in Heightstown, but it almost rubbed up against the building. And every time we had a meeting, and there were 3 meetings in a row, for some reason, the train would come by and blow its horn. So, as I think back about it, ultimately that was a sound, like the sound of the shofar, calling us And we answered that sound. And many of us are still here today, 48 years later, a little bit older. I like to think a little bit wiser. But from the beginning of Beth Chaim back then, we all had in our minds a dream, and that was to establish a place where we could practice our religion, where we could educate our children, where we could celebrate our simchas. And over the years, I think we've done a very good job of it. It was especially important in those days because in 70 and 71, just prior to us starting in 71, there had been 10 cross burnings in Heightstown. And so many of us wondered, where did we come to start this congregation, to start our life and have a journey? So I would say that from that beginning, my Jewish identity took a little different direction. Because whereas I was born and brought up Jewish, I began to realize how important it is to know who you are and to be able to freely express yourselves. So from that very, very early beginning, we established this congregation. I think we did a very good job. And I would like to point out one other thing of a personal nature, and that is that when we first came here, we had a 2-year-old, and then we started having children. Not just Joan and me, but all of us in the congregation, because 48 years ago, we were very young. We were all in our 20s and 30s back then. And on our very first night, at our very first service, we were blessed with our second daughter. And I want to give a very special shout out because I know out there I have some special people that are watching tonight. Our oldest daughter, Liz, who was 2 years old at the time, is out working currently in her office in Palo Alto, California. Hi, Liz. Caroline with Andy and Chase and Spencer are in Newtown, Pennsylvania. And Melanie and Jeff with Nora and Abby are in Newtown, Pennsylvania also. And they're the product of what we were able to do as we followed our journey in Beth Chaim. And if anybody's interested after services, I would be glad to conduct a little tour down the hall into the school. And I'll introduce you to Liz, Caroline, Melanie, and her husband Jeff, all of whom matriculated in our religious school, and their confirmation pictures are still here. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for this honor. I'm sorry I had this technical glitch, but fortunately, the cantor was here, and fortunately, I have hearing aids so that I can hear. I have a baseball bat so I can walk.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Hang on here for just 1 minute.
I certainly will.
Pages 4 and 5.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Keep you up here for Kiddush.
Oh.
There we go.
Just you and me to take this over?
Yeah. Va'erev va'voker yom hashishi. There was evening and there was morning, a 6th day. Vaychulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzevam. Vaychal Elohim bayom hashevi melachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashevi mikol melachto asher asa. Vayivarech Elohim et yom hashevi. Vayikadesh oto. Ki vo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav veratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh,
זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Chaim. Chaim.
All right, thanks. You did. Our service continues on pages 20 and 21. There it is. We'll be doing verses 1 to 5 and 9. And when we hit the last verse, we will, as is our custom, face the entrance and greet the Sabbath. Lecha dodi lecha dodi סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לך דודי בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמונה מסגולה בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי. We continue on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, על מה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה
ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם עולם מעלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר, ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו. להאמין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמידן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. Page 32. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochvenu v'kumenu Nasiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה נגע יומם ולילה ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהים כבוד שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להוטה ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You may be seated. We'll continue on page 37. We read together, love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God, who led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Michamocha, page 40. On page 42, but also on the screen behind me. top of page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We rise for Amidah, beginning on page 46, and we'll stick to the even-numbered pages.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. You may be seated. Page 55, we read together at the top, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle, may all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'odcha levadcha b'yira na'avod. At this point in the service, we say, Modim anachnu lach, we are grateful to you. If If there is anyone in the room who has something for which they are grateful, please, in a word or a sentence, let us know what that is. Yes? That the tree didn't fall. Yes. Oh, Mazel Tov. Yes. Wow, graduations and the refusal of a tree to fall.
Modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך.
Yes. Another graduation. California. Yes. Oh, Mazel Tov. Any others? Yes, sir. Happy birthday.
modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך.
All right. Page 60, we pray for peace.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Ki אתה הוא מלך הדור, בכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, בכל השלום. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. בטוב עיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Leolam. Sim Leolam. Sim Leolam.
We continue silently.
leratzon imrefi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Adonai Tzuri vegoali vegoali You will turn to page 253. We have our prayer for healing. We say this prayer, the Mishaberach, for anyone who is in need of healing, healing of body, of mind, of spirit. If there is anyone for whom you would like the prayer said, please raise your hand as I indicate around the room. Yes. Anyone? To those names we add the names of Megan Mary DePero, Rhoda Schwartz, Arlene Grable, Donald Mulaski, Teddy Mulaski, Nathan Hecker, Phil Jarvis, Marilyn Fessel, Jan Gale, Claire Meyer, Allison Stadius, Pamela White, William Isola, Stephanie Herman, Lauren Sadak, Donald Hoffman, and Chloe Sales Acavado. Page 253. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. And let us say,
Amen. So, for a while, I wasn't sure what I was going to speak about tonight. The Torah portion, Bamidbar, well, I don't know what to say about this Torah portion. It's a census. So, all right, I decided, we should go with what's in the news, but I'm not going to talk about the census. Not going to talk about the census. What I do want to talk about a little bit is what the heck is going on in Israel. Very, I don't know if you've been watching the news or hearing the headlines, but we've had a collapse of the Israeli government due to failure to form a governing coalition. And so they're going to have to redo their elections at enormous cost to the country. So I thought it might be worth just exploring for a minute how the Israeli government works or doesn't work. Because it's rather different from the way our government works or doesn't work. In Israel, there aren't two political parties. Anybody know how many there are? I'll give you a hint. It's a trick question. Because it's a moving target. Oh, no, there's way more than 9. Over the years, there have been hundreds. And there are two parties that are usually the biggest, although not always. But the way it works, in Israel, the seats in the Knesset are allotted proportionally to the votes. And you don't vote for people, you vote for parties. Each party has a list of candidates, and they're numbered from 1 to some number that I'm not going to reveal yet. So if that party gets 5 seats in the Knesset, then the top 5 people in that list get to be members of Knesset. And that's how they fill up the seats in Knesset. What it means is that it's extremely rare for any party in Israel to have a majority of the seats in Knesset. It just doesn't happen. So the only way you can govern is if you can put together among the parties represented in the Knesset a coalition that agrees to vote together, and then you have a government. Most of the time, they pull this off. The way it works usually is that the party that gets the most vote, the party that gets the most number of seats in the Knesset, the biggest piece of the vote, their number 1 candidate becomes the prime minister. It doesn't always happen this way, but usually that's the norm. The party that gets the most votes, their top person is the prime minister, and that person is the Rosh Memshala, the head of the government. However, it doesn't always work out that way. One of the real problems in Israeli politics is that the top 2 parties don't like each other very much. Now, it used to be Labor and Likud for the longest time. Labor and Likud aren't, in the last election, they were not the 2 biggest parties. The 2 biggest parties were Likud and Kahol Lavan, the blue and white party, named for the colors of the Israeli flag. Anyway, it's pretty rare, again, for the top 2 parties to work together because they're usually a party on the right and a party on the left, so whichever one has the most votes is not going to get in bed with the opposite side. Usually they try to get a coalition together with whoever else is in the Knesset. And that's where the trouble begins. How do you put together a coalition? How do you make a government? Well, you do it by horse trading. That's how it's done. And one of the things that has happened in recent years in Israeli politics is that the ultra-Orthodox parties own not a majority by a long shot, but they own enough seats that usually they can make or break a ruling coalition. How do you get the ultra-Orthodox parties to be in your government? They're easy. They're really easy. All you have to do is give them a couple of things that they really care about, and they'll vote with you on anything else. And what are those couple of things that they really care about? All right, education is one. Usually, well, army service is good, but that you don't give them. Well, no, that's different. That's a different issue. When you're putting together a coalition, they usually want to be in charge of, well, they always want to be in charge of religion. They want to be the minister of religion. That's, got to be an ultra-Orthodox person in charge. Usually they want some high post in education as well. And that's it. They have a couple of demands and you meet them. But yes, one of the things that they have enjoyed over the years is exemption from military service. In Israel, every citizen of Israel, when you turn 18, you are automatically drafted into Tzahal, the defense force, the Israeli Defense Force. And the ultra-Orthodox have had an exemption since the birth of Israel. Ben-Gurion made that exception, assuming that the ultra-Orthodox would eventually assimilate into the rest of the Israeli population. Didn't really work out that way. Nowadays, the ultra-Orthodox make up about 10% of Israel's population. That may be a surprising figure. It surprised me. And they really want to hold on to their power. And they wield, they're only 10% of the population. They wield an enormous amount of political power because they're so willing to get into coalitions. So they're almost always part of the government. They almost always have important ministries. And they get what they want this way. So, what happened in this last election? Well, now, no phones are allowed. Nobody can look this up. Does anybody know how many seats there are in the Knesset? 120 seats. Okay. So the party that got the most votes, sort of this time around, was Likud. Does anyone know, offhand, how many seats Likud got? These are really good guesses. Likud got 35 seats. 35 out of 120. That's not much of, that's obviously not a majority. But actually what's interesting, they tied with the Kahol Lavan party. Likud and the Blue and White party each got 35 seats. So they could have made a coalition. In fact, the prime minister tried really hard to make a coalition, but Kahol Lavan was not willing to go along with something. Nor was labor. What was this issue that they weren't willing to go along with? Yeah, it has to do with the military service of the ultra-Orthodox. You see, in 2017, the Israeli Supreme Court struck down the standing law about mandatory military service, specifically concerning the exemption of the ultra-Orthodox, claiming that it was a discriminatory practice. And the Supreme Court ordered the lawmakers to find a new framework, I'm using their language, to provide equal treatment for all Jewish citizens. So in other words, the Israeli Supreme Court struck down the law. The ultra-Orthodox were going to have to do military service. And so it was up to Knesset to come up with how to phase it in, what it was going to look like, if it would differ from the military service of the other soldiers, and if that was the case, then it might still be considered discriminatory. So they were in a real pickle. The Kahol Lavan party had agreed to a gradual phase-in of military service. Other parties wanted an immediate, everybody gets drafted when they're 18 period, and this is where the negotiations just broke down. Nobody could agree on how to do this. Of course, there were politicians who, just to keep the Orthodox in the coalition, were willing to say, we're going to keep you out of military service as long as we can. But that's a horribly unpopular position among the secular Israelis. So this is, we think we have partisan bickering in our country. It gets worse. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. They're going to have new elections in September. They're going to try again to form a government, and we'll see what happens. It's election season all over again. I found it really, really striking. Remember I said that the Torah portion this week is all about a census, right? The beginning of the book of Numbers. Numbers is its English title. In Hebrew, we call it Bamidbar, in the desert. But the beginning of it is, in the Sinai desert, they had a census, and they had to number all the Israelites, but not all the Israelites. If you read it carefully, all the men over 20 who are fit to bear arms are being counted carefully, tribe by tribe, in this Torah portion. I found that really striking, that we're reading that Torah portion this week when military service is the big question that causes the collapse of the Israeli government. We're counting, and there are some really interesting things about the way the Torah portion is relayed. The verb that's used for counting is, let me see if I can, it's nasa, which it sort of means to lift up your head. It's the same word. It's the same word that we use when we sing Susha'arim, which has this bizarre English translation, lift up your heads, O gates. Right? Su'u is the imperative of Nasa. But that's the word that's being used. Each guy has to look up and be counted. And that's for the purpose of military service, for the purpose of securing and defending Eretz Yisrael. Well, in those days it was called Canaan, but it's the same piece of land. Just so striking. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm just really, really curious what the Torah portion will be when the next government is getting formed. I think it's at the end of September. Yeah, right around there. There is a sitting government, but it's dysfunctional. All I know is that the Israeli Supreme Court declared that whatever the arrangement was that was in place was discriminatory and needed to be changed to make it more equal. Aleinu is on page 282. We rise together. .282 at the bottom.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We remain standing, page 291 in the readings before Kaddish. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Page 294. We say Kaddish in memory of all the art sites that occur this week. Karen Hicks, Rita Kantrowitz, Julius Beck, Helen Cronenfeld, Ria Hartman, Erwin Butensky, Henry Weintraub, Albert Fetter, Harry Trush, Barton Cohen, Saeed Saif, Anna Hafetz, Sam Gordon, Pauline Gorman, Esther Carlin, Elliot Greenberg, Frederick Hochberg, Lillian Masaloff, Melvin Kessler, Lillian Liebenson, Ida Gitnick, Sally Ferminsky, Leonore Loeb, Raymond Lubin, Howard Resnick, Marilyn Friedlander, Bertram Greenberg, Martin Greenbaum, Isidore Birnbaum, Jean Schwartz, Joel Selikoff, Alicia Anklowitz, Gerald Spielman, Martin Spielman, Benjamin Goldberg, Doris Tabor, Dorothy Weinstein, Robert Rosenfeld, Louis Foxman, Sam Friedman, Irving Lieb, Dorothy Goldberg, Gerald Katcher, Gilbert Eriton, Joseph Stone, William Sallet, Martin Wugin. We commemorate the week of Shiva for Tama Seletsky, mother of Ruth Kamen, and Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning. Mother of Toby Arias, Mary Maltman, husband of Lois Weber Altman. Page 294. Velma Divrachnud.
Some wonderful programs. So please join us to celebrate our confirmants on June 8th at the Shavuot Confirmation Service. I understand this service is going to be a little bit different than it's been in the past, and I, for one, am looking very forward to it. Canterbinder, do you want to talk about your, you want me to, okay, I'll finish mine first. Anyway, Canterbinder is going to be doing a class, and he's going to talk about it in a minute. And 2 favorite summer programs return. Dinner and a movie is back on the 15th with the film A Wing and a Prayer. And our reading series begins on the 27th with a discussion of the book My Russian Grandmother and Her American Vacuum Cleaner. So think about signing up now. For any more activities, you want to know what's going on, you can always take a look at the board outside. There's also the bulletin that's along the wall there, right by the office. So, Shabbat Shalom. I hope everyone has a great weekend.
So my microphone is apparently on the fritz, so I'll have to use this one. I did want to, because the perk of doing services myself is that I can do a little bit of shameless self-promotion. So wait, where is it? The June 13 and 20. Didn't know what to call it. We called this old-time religion. What the class is about, it's a 2-part little mini class. About 2,500 years ago, there was a religious revolution that spanned the entire world. Every religion on the planet changed. And what this class will be about is looking at what religion was like, what real old-time religion was like 2,500 years ago. And what happened? What happened, this idea that spread like fire across the entire globe and changed every religion on the planet, changed religions that are around today. Well, some religions vanished. Some religions were born out of this period, and some religions, like Hinduism and Judaism, were changed by this event. Not really an event, but it's kind of mysterious, and we're going to talk about that. But this is a change from the old style of religion to a newer style, modern prophetic Judaism, which of course gave birth to Christianity and Islam. So this was a period of time that had really major influence on all the religions around the world today. So that's what that, was really hard to describe in 2 lines, but that's what that class is going to be about. So I hope to see you. Yeah, my wireless isn't working, so you might be able to hear me, but the people who are watching at home can't. So I'd prefer to do this from down there the way Rabbi Beal does, but I'll ask you all to rise for a blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you with good and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God be with you and be kind to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. V'yasem lecha shalom, shalom. May you always know that God is close, and may God give you the gift of peace. Shabbat shalom. Hala. I
so much prefer to do this at the Oneg, but, all right. So how many, yeah, we'll do it at the Oneg.